Right, welcome back everybody to the next episode in our F1 Manager 22 career mode, role-playing as Dario Franchitti, being the boss of AlphaTauri. We got the French Grand Prix up today, and there's not a whole lot to do really between now and 11 days when the French Grand Prix begins. We saw last episode we had the new regulations vote, which was for a new points system, as well as a bonus point for pole position instead of fastest lap. We voted against it because the way the points they wanted it to be was back to what it was in like the 90s, right? Top 6 only scoring points. So we rejected that proposal, and we will find out in about a week how the vote went. We are making a few more chassis and rear wings just so we have more in stock, but other than that I think I'll just skip ahead until we see what the regulation results were. Okay, so we are up to there now, and the regulation votes, it's in favor. A whole lot of people voted for it. Ferrari, us, and Aston Martin were the only 3 teams to vote against it, so that will certainly mix everything up. I'm not surprised that McLaren and Williams voted for it. You know, that was a point system that both of those teams had tremendous success with back in the 80s and 90s. I am surprised that Haas voted for it. I would have thought they'd be against it because the chance of scoring points or lucking into points now is rather remote, because reliability is a lot better than what it was back in the 90s, and if you have a top 3 car, then chances are you will finish top 6. So good luck to the rest of the teams. We've got an up-and-coming driver, David Beckman, who's currently in the F3 Championship. We sent our scouts out last episode. I believe we are scouting Fernando Alonso, Zhou Guanyu, and Jack Doohan, as well as one of the technical chiefs. I think it's Alpine's technical chief that we are scouting. Matt Harmon. He's a little bit better than our guy, and he's also younger, which is the only reason we're scouting him. We got 18 days for that, so we don't have to worry about anything yet. Got our performance targets qualifying at least 12th with one driver, reaching Q3. If we hit Q3, we'll get both of those. Race targets, at least 12th. I'm going to go a little bit more here. We'll go 8th, I think. No, we'll stick with 9th. Although Pierre has been doing pretty good lately, hasn't he? No, we'll go 8th. There we go. Why not? I will catch you in France.
It's Grand Prix time here in Le Castellet. The very first horseless carriage race was organised in France in 1894. Since then, well, the carriages have only gotten faster. For the Grand Prix here, Paul Ricard boasts a fine collection of low, medium and high-speed corners. The scene curve is taken at breakneck speed, right before heavy braking at Beausset. This is an all-rounder test for cars and drivers alike. We're about halfway through the season now, and there's still plenty of time for everything to change. All eyes are on the teams and how they tackle the rest of the year. The weekend begins here.
So it looks like a dry weekend for Paul Ricard. Should make things a little bit more straightforward. And like last episode, I think I will just do all 3 practice sessions. I'll show any of the highlights of any crashes or spins, and I will catch you just before quali. Just before we head out, I think I will not use Liam Lawson this time around. It's Pierre's home race, so we'll give him all 3 practice sessions, and at this stage Yuki needs all the seat time he can get, so we'll keep our usual drivers in for this practice.
like a few cars have crashed. Let's see what happened there. So this was the Aston Martin. Someone spun out. Let's have a look. Daniel Ricciardo involved here. That looked like a very nasty spin. We've just had a spin. Here's the replay. Now watch this. Here's Alonso's car. And this, yes. Sounds like we've had a spin. Let's have a look. Let's have another look. Science is the focus here. They lose it there. That's the spin. It's a crash, and it's more than one car. Let's see what happened there. All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here. And that's a big smash. They'll have felt that. That's going to be a big blow to the team. Will they be able to recover? We'll see. Here we are, back for another day of Formula One action, where practice wraps up and qualifying unfolds. Ahead of the race tomorrow, the teams will be putting their practice data to use and making sure that their drivers have the very best chance of setting a lap time that will edge out the competition in qualifying. Drivers may know a track inside and out, but unless they have the setup to complement their ability, their efforts may be for nothing. Let the competition commence. Sounds like a spin. Let's take a closer look. Now we see Valtteri Bottas. What a spin out!
I made a big fast spot. I gotta cool down.
Yeah, clear.
Let's take a look at the replay. Now let's look at this. The focus on Tsunoda. Well, they've lost it. They've locked up.
Okay, so all 3 practice sessions are finished with. We had a pretty good day. We managed to get our drivers both up to 99% confidence in their car setup. Yuki had a few issues. He managed to lock up a couple times, I think once in practice 2 and then again in practice 3. There were only really 2 main incidents to talk about. The 2 Astons crashed into each other in FP1, and then I believe it was Magnussen crashed into, I want to say one of the Williams, I could be wrong, in practice 2. Ricciardo's got a penalty, Stroll has a penalty in practice 1, Vettel has a penalty in practice 2, and that's the only extra one there. So as you can see, we were 3rd and 6th after practice 3, half a second off the pace was Yuki, and Pierre was a couple tenths quicker. Practice 2, they were pretty much within a tenth of each other, 7th and 8th, and then practice 1, we were also 7th and 8th. So we're within a second of the leaders, which again is pretty much where I'm expecting us to be. So we will see how qualifying goes. I'll catch you at the end of it. So the end of qualifying 1, and we managed to get both our guys through just on the one run. Pierre up there in 7th, about 8 tenths off the pace, and Yuki a further 8 tenths behind Pierre. That's a decent range. Been a bit closer than that throughout the weekend, so I don't really get that. The big shock would be Lando Norris missing out on Q2. Usually it's been either Daniel Ricciardo or Mick Schumacher to be joining the Aston Martins and the Williams, but this time it's Lando, so he won't be very happy with that. Ricciardo's half a second quicker. Maybe he's got some upgrades that Lando doesn't. Who knows? Kevin Magnussen up there in P10. Good effort for him. And the Alfa Romeos look back on song this weekend. Bottas there in 8th and Zhou Guanyu up there in P12. But it's familiar story at the front. The two Ferraris got a couple tenths on everybody else, and the Mercedes seem to be able to mix it with the Red Bulls so far. I'll catch you after qualifying 2. Okay, end of qualifying 2, and Yuki has missed out by a couple tenths. Needed to get into the 32.9s and could only just break into the 33.1s. That's okay. Pierre did a really good lap on his second run there. A tenth faster than what he managed in qualifying 1. To be fair, Yuki did go a tenth and a bit quicker than what he managed in Q1, but it just wasn't quite enough there. Ferraris, again, just on a different planet. But the rest of it, the two Mercs, Pierre and the two Red Bulls, and also Valtteri, are right there. Not a brilliant Q2 for the Red Bulls. They were about 3 tenths to half a second off what they ran in Q1, so we'll see how they go in qualifying 3. I'll catch you at the end of it. End of qualifying, and Pierre Gasly will start his home Grand Prix in P7. He found time in each 3 sessions, which is all we can ask for. He's about 2 tenths away from the Mercedes there of George Russell, and he's about a quarter of a second in front of Bottas. So P7 is about our pace this weekend, and I think that was roughly where we were in the practice sessions as well. So not much else we can do about that. I wonder if Mercedes have bought an upgrade, because they are right with the Red Bulls this weekend and only a couple tenths off Ferrari. So maybe Mercedes have upgraded their car to a point where they can mix it with the Ferraris and the Red Bulls. Where, of course, both the British Grand Prix and Austrian Grand Prix, we didn't really look like we could touch the Ferraris. We could hang with the Red Bulls, but we weren't really able to do much with the Ferraris. I know we led a number of laps at Austria, but it was clear that we were just holding the Ferraris up because the Red Bulls and I think it was Lewis were able to hang with us as well. And then once Leclerc and Sainz got around Pierre and managed to break out of that DRS zone, it was game over for us. So it'll be interesting to see if Mercedes and Red Bull can keep that pace with the Ferraris in the race.
Race day has arrived and the time has come for these drivers to fight it out wheel to wheel.
AlphaTauri did rather well in qualifying. Let's see if they can manage to achieve a strong start for the race itself. We saw a reasonable push from Mercedes in qualifying, and they'll have plenty of opportunities here to achieve a great result. And the sun is shining bright here today. This is perfect weather for teams and drivers alike to show us what they're capable of.
Absolutely right. So brace yourself for a fantastic conclusion to the French Grand Prix.
Right, so once again we're going to go super aggressive for the start, and then we will calm it down. We're also going to go a couple laps over on the fuel, just so we can push the engine, and we'll see how the French Grand Prix goes. Hopefully it goes as good as the last couple have been. We've been competitive enough with the Red Bulls, so we shall see whether that trend continues.
As the sun continues to shine, it seems like nothing can dampen the mood of excitement here at the track. And there we have Pierre Gasly. With a top 10 position on the grid, this race could really go either way for them. And behind them, there's Tsunoda. With their starting position in the back 10, they'll have their work cut out for them. And we're just moments away now. This is it. It's time for the French Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Thanks, Crofty. Let's have a look at what tyres everybody is on here. Everyone is either on the mediums or the hards again. We have gone up the inside of, I believe that's George Russell. And we're fighting it out with Sergio. Three wide. Interesting.
Focus on the base.
It's a race position gained for Mercedes.
Tire temperatures. We will keep an eye on tire temperatures.
That's a position gained for Alpha Tauri.
We had a look there. Tsunoda trying to get past Zhou Guanyu.
Good job.
Still trying to get past both Russell and Sergio. Not really working, so I'm going to go back on standard, I think.
Need to drop
And
the
we'll go
base.
on neutral.
Okay.
We'll keep the engine on pushing though. See how we go from here. So far we're looking pretty good. We've managed to drop K-Mag out of this little DRS train. Hamilton managed to get around Carlos for P2 there. But then I think it's going to be a bit of a train. He tries to squeeze Carlos over there. And Yuki is in P11 sitting behind Bottas. And they've broken away from Mick Schumacher there back in P14, second and a half. So right now I think we're in a pretty decent place. Go light on the tyres, see if we can still stay with them. Save a bit of tyre.
Seems to have been a lockup.
No, it's not working. We've dropped off. Gonna deploy, get back in range here, I think.
Their tires, they are looking good now.
Gotta do that with Yuki as well.
Yeah.
Leclerc and Perez and George are all in the pits. What are they going to go on to? The hards. Hards. And I presume hards as well. For George. Yep. Ocon's in on hards. Lando's just come in. So we can still go for a little bit. So I'm going to go on balanced, I think, and aggressive.
Keep up the lift off.
Oops, not that aggressive. See if we can
Close to the cars in front.
save some
Copy.
battery and engine, or fuel, sorry.
Okay.
Might be able to go another couple laps maybe. Max is in.
Alpine just advanced.
So we will probably pit this time by... Actually, we could probably do another lap, eh? No, we're going to box Pierre right now, I think. So we're going to pit him. He is pitting this lap. Sonoda can go another lap, so I'm going to... Ah, never mind. He's beyond this, so we are going to box him. I'm going to pit Pierre. And we'll wait with Yuki. Yuki can do another lap, I think. We'll go from there. See where he comes out. Probably around Russell, I guess. Actually, he might be with Yuki. He is, he's right with Yuki. And we're going to box Yuki this time by... And I think we're going to go back to aggressive here, see if we can push this a bit. Sector 3. Someone ran wide apparently.
Looks like there's been a lockup. Let's have a look. Now let's look. We're watching Nicholas Latifi. And yes, that's the lockup.
Looks like he was trying to enter the pit lane or something there, but...
The team are really disappointed with that. Let's hope it doesn't set them back too badly.
maybe not. Okay, so in comes Yuki, who held up Russell a little bit for us. We got 2.5 seconds on George. Give or take. Probably be around Ocon, I guess. No, he's going to be behind Seb. We'll swap this over so he can push on the engine. And let's see where we go from here. Gasly sets fastest lap. Interesting. He has caught up to that little pack of Verstappen, Zhou, Bottas. George is there as well, so's Alonso. We're all stuck behind K-Mag. Yeah, they're on hard, so they're going to keep going for a little bit yet. May as well save the engine, I guess. Now we're going to push. See if we can get out of range of those guys. And we have. So we're P6 currently. I'm going to push on these tires a little bit as well. on Yuki, try and save some of that. Lewis dropped back pretty bad there, huh?
Who's running wide there?
He has pulled out, so we're going to go back for Pierre. George might get us here, and that's fine. We need to be able to hang with George.
It's a race position gain for a Mercedes.
The brakes are really poor.
Let's take a look at the replay. Now look at this. It was the Alpha Tauri driver involved.
He had a look,
And that's a
and I think he
smash.
busted his wing.
Would have felt that. The team are devastated. They'll be questioning just what happened out there.
Something happened. Hang on, let me pause that. Minor front wing. Minor. I'm going to ignore it.
Sounds like there's been contact. Here's the
Probably our crash.
Now let's look at this. Here's George Russell. And there's the collision. It's caused absolute.
Well, I guess we'll see if George pits. Is George pitting? We have a time penalty, 5 seconds. Fair enough. Justified. Okay, you know what? We have a set of
Push now.
softs, so I think we just push like hell. Russell is in, so yeah, we're gonna push and pit a little while, I think. See what we can get that gap to. It's up to 21 seconds currently, that's pretty good. Because of course, remember, we do have the 5-second time penalty. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if we can get this gap up to about 25 seconds.
Gains for Alfa Romeo. Gains for Alpha Tauri.
There's George. What have we got? We got about 10 laps to go.
Mercedes moved up a place. Sounds like someone's locked up.
Alright, so George is there, so I think we should probably pit him now. So I'm going to box him. We're going to go on a brand new set. We are going to replace the front wing. And then we're just going to push like hell. So in comes Pierre. We got about 21 seconds on George. It did say 25, but that's the weird pit exit. We got a 5-second penalty here. Then we got the front wing change. And away. So there goes George. Esteban will get us. Yuki will get us. Bottas, Alonso, Magnussen does as well. So we got 10 laps and we're just gonna go like hell. Pierre sets fastest lap.
Looks like Alpha Tauri have found their rhythm.
Russell's in again. So Leclerc's about to start his last lap. I think we'll watch Charles take the checkered flag here. Pretty dominant win for him. Started from the pole. Pretty comfy for him. Sainz will get just beat home Sergio for P2 there. Hamilton not that far behind.
That's Leclerc. Charles Leclerc is today's winner.
Okay, keep it clean. Focus on the pace.
Pierre's trying to hold off Fernando. Didn't do it. I think we'll go deploy here.
Okay, we need some deploy. We don't have enough battery.
Not quite.
Copy.
P7. And P10 for Yuki, so double points again. And I think we got a bonus point for fastest lap. I don't think anyone beat Pierre's time.
Well, this weekend, Pierre Gasly flew us to the stars. This was well deserved for AlphaTauri. A solid weekend of racing.
I wouldn't be surprised if the team's performance today won them a lot of new fans.
And after this result, the team is fourth in the constructor standings.
Next round, we're moving on to an exhilarating circuit. Formula One will be taking to the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Right, so the end of the French Grand Prix there, and Leclerc leads home a Ferrari 1-2, with Sainz just holding on against Perez and Lewis there. A second covers those three. Verstappen finished P5, Fernando just pipped Pierre at the line for P6 there, but we do get the extra bonus point for fastest lap, so real good by Pierre there. Guan Yu gets 8th, Ocon 9th, and Yuki picks up the final point for 10th. Bottas finishes in P11 with Magnussen behind him. Russell had an interesting day. Obviously he got tangled up with Pierre. Fully Pierre's fault, he just locked up and barreled into him. But then he pitted again, and I don't understand that move by Mercedes. They lost out on P6 there, but whatever, I don't mind. Ricciardo finishes 14th, Schumacher 15th, Norris 16th, Vettel 17th, Albon 18th, Stroll 19th, and Latifi is the last man in the race. Everybody up to Daniel Ricciardo there got lapped, so 14 finished all 53 laps. Everybody else was just the one lap down today. No safety cars, couple incidents. The main one being the one involving Pierre and George, but all's well that ends well, in terms for us anyway. So Leclerc pulls out 7 points on Carlos there. Verstappen loses more ground. Perez actually gains a little bit of ground on Max there, 5 points. Lewis jumps past Gasly, and Fernando jumps past George, who's not having the best of seasons. I see Lewis has got 98 points and George has only got 40, so he wants to get a bit of a wriggle on if he wants to close down that gap, particularly to Pierre. We might be able to beat him. I was thinking at the start of the year we might get P7, right behind the 2 Ferraris, the 2 Red Bulls and the 2 Mercs, but with how it's going now, P6 is definitely on the cards. Yuki stays in 11th, but he is slowly extending the gap behind him. He did lose out a little bit to Guan Yu today, 3 points there, but he did extend his gap over Ricciardo. No new points finishes there, still the 2 Williams, Vettel and Mick Schumacher. Constructors, we lose ground to both Mercedes and Alpine, but we do gain 4 points on Alfa Romeo. Ferrari have 9 wins and 8 fastest laps. Red Bull have 3 fastest laps. Mercedes have none. We have just the 1 podium and 1 fastest lap. Money-wise, we gain just over 2.5 million once the bonuses get paid out. So we're still making money. We're not making as much as I would like. I mean, if we want to get a better second driver instead of Tsunoda, we're going to have to watch that, because that could be, we might not be making any money, or unless the sponsors give us more money if you perform better. I don't know. I haven't gone that far in the game yet, so maybe the better results you get, the more money the sponsors do pay out for the following season. I don't know. We'll find out together at the time. So that's going to be it for this episode. We are all done. Board confidence in Dario Franchitti is high. I believe, according to the calendar, upcoming events, we got a performance review in 6 days. But if they're fully confident in our ability, then I don't think we have anything to worry about. I see our research for the chassis is going to be up in a couple of days, so we'll be able to focus on something else at the start of the next episode, where we head off to Hungary. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Have an awesome day. Like, subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.